Hello friends, and welcome to your yoga class. My name is Jenny and this is a restore practice. So we're going to do just a full body check-in. We're going to do a little Yoga Nidra, so some little bit of guided meditation, and just kind of give ourselves a little bit of love. So we will be utilizing some props. So a few things that you may want to grab. If you have blocks or a block or two, you could also use books, something just of a similar size, shape, give a little bit of lift, or just bring the ground closer. You can also, you'll want a couple blankets, maybe a smaller one and then a thicker one. I'll use these for a little bit of cushion. Again, sometimes to bring a little bit of lift, a little bit of support. You can also use it in Shavasana to wrap up. A bolster is nice if you have one. So this is a bolster, just a nice meditation cushion. If you don't have something like this, you can use a larger blanket folded up. You can use couch cushions, stack of pillows, anything along those lines. So again, we bring in the props to support the body and just try to bring in a little more release. So take a moment to gather any props that you would like, anything else that you want to use, maybe an eye mask or something else for your Shavasana, for your final relaxation. And we are actually going to start with the Yoga Nidra. So we'll start with a little guided meditation. So for this, you are welcome to sit up as long as the back is supported and that you can kind of release through the arms, through the legs. So sit against a wall or sit in a chair, something where you can be supported, or lying down with the arms supported. So again, with everything supported, so you can lie flat on the ground. You can use props to support you in any way. Sometimes nice to slide something underneath the knees, something for the head. You could also, if you do have a bolster, you can set up kind of a little lounge chair looking, with a block, whatever height. With the bolster, as you lie back, bringing in some support. Again, you can throw something underneath the knees. So take your time to set yourself up so that you feel nice and supported, but you can relax, you can release. So whatever that looks like for you, take your time to settle in, and then once you do get nice and settled, we want to try to be as still as we can throughout the practice, if that is possible. Of course, that's not a super strict rule, so if you have to move, don't feel like you're going to ruin the meditation or anything like that. Just try to strive to not fidget once you get nice and settled. So again, give you a few moments to settle in a nice supported position so that we can start with our Yoga Nidra. And then we'll just move through some gentle movement, just all through the body. So as you start to find stillness in the body, start to feel the support. Whatever it is that is beneath you, whether it's the ground, whether it's props, whether it's a chair, feel it rising up to hold you, to support you in this space. Feeling the weight of gravity holding you. There's an invitation to close the eyes if that feels right for you, or you can simply just soften the gaze. If you're lying on the back and you have the lights on, it may be nice to dim the lights. And before we begin our meditation, just starting to tune into the breath. You don't have to change it. You don't have to try to manipulate it in any way. Just starting to bring your awareness to it. Just starting to notice the inhale. Notice the exhale. Noticing the quality of the breath, the temperature, the texture. There may be a natural lengthening of the breath as you bring awareness to it, and that's definitely fine. And we'll take a moment to set an intention, or in Yoga Nidra it's called a sankalpa. And this is just, a little mantra. Maybe it's something that you're working on, something that you want to call in, or it could even just be a dedication of your practice to someone else, someone who's needing a little extra love and support today. So the sankalpa is a direct statement in the present tense. So it could be, I am present in my body. I call in, fill in the blank. I send love and support to, fill in the blank. It doesn't have to be anything profound, though it can be. And once you have your sankalpa, state it 3 times, either quietly to yourself, or you can say it out loud. You can think it or say it. And then with all intentions, with all manifestations, we want to put it out there, state it, believe it, allow yourself to feel. And then we want to let it go, to allow universal intelligence to do with it what it sees fit. And as we begin our Yoga Nidra, know that nothing is supposed to happen, and nothing is not supposed to happen. It is a practice of pure awareness, pure presence. It does translate to yoga sleep. While we relax the body, putting it in a restful position, we do keep the mind active. And it gets us kind of into a state almost like lucid dreaming, but there are some differences. But know that it is okay if you do zone out, if you do fall asleep. Your subconscious is still absorbing. The work is still being done. It's just nice to stay conscious so that you can remember what's going on. But you know that it's okay if you fall asleep. But try not to. I will just be guiding us through a full body check-in. So as I say each body part, again, we want to try to be as still as possible. So just bring your awareness to that part. You don't have to move it. Bringing your awareness and noticing that where attention goes, energy flows. Bringing your awareness to your right thumb, your right index finger, your right middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger. Bringing awareness to the right palm, the back of the right hand, the right wrist, the right forearm, traveling up to the elbow, the upper arm, the right shoulder, and right armpit. Sending your awareness down the right side of the body, down to your right hip, the right glute, the right quad, and the right hamstring. Letting your awareness travel down to the right knee, down to the right shin, the calf, the ankle, your right heel, the bottom of the right foot, the top of the right foot, right big toe, second toe, middle toe, fourth toe, and pinky toe. Feel into the whole right leg, the whole right arm, and the whole right side of the body. Bringing your awareness to your left thumb, left pointer finger, left middle finger, left ring finger, left pinky. Bring awareness to the left palm, the back of the left hand, the left wrist, left forearm, left elbow, the upper arm, left shoulder, and left armpit. Letting your awareness travel down the left side body, left hip, left glute, left quad, and the hamstring. Down over the left knee, the left shin, left calf, down to the left ankle, left heel, the bottom of the left foot, top of the left foot, left big toe, second toe, middle toe, fourth toe, and pinky toe. Feeling into the whole left leg, the whole left arm, be aware of the whole left side body. Bringing your awareness to the crown of the head, the back of the head, the forehead, the right ear, left ear, right cheek, left cheek, right jaw, and left jaw. Feel into the front of the neck, the back of the neck, bring awareness to the whole head. Bring your awareness to the front side of the torso, to the back side of the torso. Now notice anywhere you feel sensation, any tension. Bring your awareness to this area or areas. Once again, bring your awareness to the whole right side of the body, the whole left side of the body, and now to the entire body as a whole. Being aware of everything you feel, every sensation, receiving, witnessing, and releasing. experiencing the body through awareness and experiencing awareness through the body. This will end our Yoga Nidra practice. When I count down from 3 to 1, that will signal the end. 3, 2, 1. Yoga Nidra is now over. Very gently, start to bring just a little bit of movement back into the body. And we will meet up flat on the back. So if you are sitting up or having props support you in either way, move gently, move with awareness. As you start to set the props off to the side and gently start to make your way all the way onto the back. With this full body awareness cultivated through our Yoga Nidra, start to reach the arms overhead, lengthening out through the legs, taking a big good morning stretch. Nice and slowly bending the right knee, planting the right foot on the ground. Bending the left knee, planting the left foot on the ground. Bringing the arms back down alongside the body. Press into the feet, lift the hips just slightly to tuck the tailbone down, and then set the hips back down, just finding a little length through the tailbone. And a nice flattening out of the low back. And then nice and slow, starting to draw the right knee in towards the chest. Left knee in towards the chest. You're welcome to bring the hands to the outsides of the knees, tops of the knees, or wrapping the arms around. If it would feel good, you could use the hands to draw the knees a little closer in towards the chest, finding a little more length through the low back, maybe even getting a little sensation in the hip flexors. And if some rocking side to side would feel good here, explore that. You could also circle through the knees, as big or as small as you'd like. Nice, gentle, mindful movements. Continuing to observe the breath, or if you'd like to work with any deep belly breathing. If Ujjayi breath is something you'd like to play with as well, bringing in that audible sound, the audible quality to the breath, by activating the muscles in the back of the throat, that's absolutely an option. We want to stay connected to the breath in any way, and through observation or through a gentle controlling of the breath.
And then as you feel ready, we'll just release the arms alongside the body and start to extend the legs up towards the sky. They don't have to extend all the way. The knees could be bent as much as you'd like. Flexing through the toes, maybe even spreading or flexing through the feet, toes back towards the nose. And just start to bring some awareness to the feet. Excuse me. Maybe spreading out through the toes. You go point and flex through the feet. And roll out through the ankles. Bringing in some small movements in the feet. Or you could bring in larger movements with the legs. Maybe you scissor the legs open. Maybe they open out to the sides. You could also shake out through the legs, getting a little release. This extension of the legs is a nice release for the legs. Reverses circulation. It can also be a nice release for the low back. You're also welcome to put the legs up the wall if you are nearby and that support would feel good for you. But we'll be here for just about 5 or so more rounds of breath. Just giving some love to the legs, to the feet, and to the low back. Connecting to the breath. And as you feel ready, bending the knees, lowering the feet down towards the ground. Walking the feet out a little wider than hip distance. And we'll start to take some windshield wipers. So letting the knees drop over towards the right. Knees back up through center. And over towards the left. And taking these side to side movements with the legs. You're welcome to pause for a few rounds of breath on each side if you'd like. Working a little bit of twisting in the low back. Also getting a nice release through the hips, maybe some stretching through the hip flexors, through the quads. You could even increase that stretch a little bit if you'd like. For instance, if the knees are over towards the right, you could point the left knee towards the upper right corner of the mat, just finding a little more length through that left side of the leg. And with the knees over towards the left, pointing and extending the right knee down towards the upper left corner of the mat. Just another way to explore if that feels good for you. We'll take another 3 or so rounds of breath in this exploration with the windshield wipering of the legs. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the knees back up towards center. Feet are still nice and wide, and then we'll let the knees drop in on themselves so that the knees are resting against each other. Just getting a little counter stretch. You can bring the right hand to the belly, left hand to the heart. Feeling the rise rise and fall of the chest and the belly as you breathe. Just a few more rounds of breath here. Finding a little bit of stillness as the legs just fall in on themselves. And then as you feel ready, we'll slowly start to just roll onto one side of the body. Gently press ourselves up. And then we'll start to come into hands and knees. Now you may want to highly consider doubling up on the mat or kneeling on a blanket. This is just giving the knees a little bit of love. Even if you don't have knee issues currently, your future knees will thank you. So kneeling, the knees could be underneath the hips or they could be a little wider if that feels better. Planting the hands on the ground, and the wrists could be underneath the shoulders, but if that doesn't feel good, that's a pretty intense bend on the wrists and puts all the pressure on the wrists. The hands could walk forward, they could walk out, they could walk in. You could even play with, dialing the hands out or in. Just taking time to find a hands and knees position that feels right in your body. We want to have a little bit of a neutral spine. So there might be a slight engagement in the belly, so we're not just hanging out with the belly dropping down, but that there's kind of a little neutrality there. The gaze is towards the ground, so we're not cranking through the neck. We've got this nice long extension through the spine, pressing into the tops of the feet, pressing into the hands. Start to find some cat-cow movements here, so some spinal flexion. With that same engagement in the core to support the hips and the low back, we'll inhale to lower the belly, pelvis tilts up. Gaze could lift if that feels okay in the neck as the heart shines forward. And then we'll exhale to start to round it out, tucking through the chin, tucking through the tail. Following your breath. And you could inhale to smile the spine into cow. Exhale to round it out in cat. You could also slow it down, taking a few rounds of breath in each pose. And then you're welcome to continue with cat-cow, or if you'd like to bring in any other movements through the spine. Maybe you circle through the torso, bringing in some side stretching as you work through that spinal flexion. You could wag the tail, taking the gaze over the shoulder, finding some side stretching. You could bring some more movement into the joints by shifting the hips back towards a child's pose. Forward towards a gentle upward dog. Nothing crazy here, nothing forceful. You could also circle through the hips, maybe taking some figure eights. So lots of options for you to explore. We'll take about 10 or so more rounds of breath in this exploration. And just finding what feels good in your body today. Using the information that we gathered in the full body check-in this at the beginning of class in our Yoga Nidra, to mindfully move through the body, working to release tension, to create openness. A few more rounds of breath here. And whenever you feel ready, we'll settle into a child's pose. So your choice if you leave the knees where they are, or you could take them out wider, bringing the big toes to touch. And if it feels okay in the knees, we'll send the hips back as the chest and head lower down. Now that is a pretty extreme bend in the knees. So you could bring a bolster or a rolled up blanket across the calves, some sort of cushion or pillow. So that as you sink back, you're not having to take such a deep bend in the knees. And if that's still not working for you, then you could take a puppy pose, leaving the knees over the hips and just lower down either to the forearms or all the way down. You could also bring in props for support. If you have a cushion or a pillow that you want to lower down on, you could also fill in the space between the legs with a prop. That's another nice way to take some of the weight off. And maybe a block or something for the head. Arms extended overhead if that feels okay in the shoulders. If not, the arms could come, they could come alongside the body. Really allow yourself, give yourself permission to explore, to find what is going to work in your body right now. Not worrying about what you think this pose should look like, or what you did maybe last time you practiced this pose. Every time we step on the mat, it's going to be a different experience. Our bodies will be different, our minds will be different. We're in a constant state of change. So that's why we take time at the beginning of class to check in, so that we're aware of what's going on in the body, so we're not trying to force anything. We're working to, challenge the body in ways that feel right for us today. And sometimes what's right is to be gentle, which in itself can be a challenge. Especially being gentle to ourselves. We are definitely our own worst critics. And we often have these ideas of what the body should do, what it should look like, how it should feel. And not all of it is our fault. These unrealistic ideals. A lot of it is our culture, the way we're raised, which creates this little voice in our head that doesn't always allow us to really honor ourselves, to honor our bodies, our minds, and to be gentle. Bringing in a sense of non-judgment, which is a form of love. some of us are still working on building a loving relationship with the body. We want to start with at least a respectful relationship with the body. Respecting what our body can do and what it can't do. And knowing that both of those things are okay. If you're in a position that allows it and it would feel good for you, you could take this into a side stretch with the arms overhead, just walking the hands over towards the left, opening up through the right side body. And this is just an option. If it speaks to you, if it feels like something that you could benefit from. In this side stretch, we're still keeping the hips, fairly squared, so we're not lifting, or we're not shifting, I should say, through the lower body. Just the upper body is moving over into that side stretch if that's what you'd like to take. And of course, you're welcome to just stay in child's pose with the nice lengthening through the spine. Another option, if you didn't want to take the side body stretch, is with the arms overhead, either tenting up on the fingertips or raising the hands up on a prop. That just creates more space in the head and the chest to lower down and just gives you more sensation in the chest and the shoulders and the armpits. If you are taking that side stretch, then when you're ready, walking the hands back towards center and over towards the right, finding that side stretch through the left side body. Connecting with the breath. And the breath is one of the most present things that we have. When we focus on the breath, it gets us in our bodies, which helps to settle us into our present moment. Just a few more rounds of breath in our child's pose. If you're in that side stretch, when it feels right for you, when you feel complete, walking the hands back towards center. And then as you feel ready, we'll gently start to raise up and out of our pose. And we'll start to bring a little love to the neck and the shoulders. So your choice, what you'd like to be doing with the lower body. If it feels okay to stay with the knees bent, you can come into a hero's pose. This can be a nice stretch for the quads. It can also be good for mobility in the knee joint. But again, this is a pretty deep bend in the knee, so if you have knee issues, this may not feel awesome. You're also welcome to bring props in to sit on. And if it doesn't feel good to be on the knees, you're welcome to come into a seated position, sitting up on a prop. You could also do this final part sitting on a chair. But whatever you decide to do with the lower body, we want to be able to find a nice tall spine, lengthening up through the crown of the head, finding some squaring through the hips so the sits bones are nice and grounded, whether that's on the heels, on a prop, on the ground, or on a chair. Sitting up nice and tall. We'll take an inhale to send the arms out to the side and start to raise them up towards the sky, just as high as feels okay. Exhale, we'll bend the elbows, bring the arms into goalposts, pausing when the elbows are parallel to the ground. Spread out through the hands. And then we'll inhale to draw the shoulder blades back, finding an opening in the chest. Gaze could even lift if that feels okay. And then exhale, starting to bring the hands, forearms, and elbows together, elbows still bent. As we round out through the upper back, you could even tuck the chin in towards the chest. And inhaling to open. And exhaling to bring it in. So we're only rounding and arching through the mid and upper back. We're working to keep the low back nice and stable. And of course, you could link one breath per movement, or you could slow things down. We'll take about 3 or so more rounds of breath. Awesome work. When you're ready, we'll meet back in goalposts. We'll extend the arms out, and then we're going to bring the arms together towards center. We'll bring the right elbow on top, so we're crisscrossing. Bending in the elbows, you can just bring the backs of the hands to touch. Maybe you get a double wrap and you can bring the fingers to touch, or maybe the fronts of the palms. And if it doesn't feel good to have the arms extended like this, you're welcome to lower the arms, the hands down to the shoulders. But working with eagle arms. So we're drawing the elbows up and away from the body so that we get this nice separation in the shoulder blades. And then if it'll feel okay, slowly start to tuck the chin down towards the chest, finding a little more length through the back of the neck. We won't be here for long. We're just getting a nice stretch through the neck and shoulders. If the chin is tucked down, nice and slow, start to raise the head up towards the sky. And then gently we'll start to take both elbows over towards the left. Gaze comes over the right shoulder. So again, we're just getting a little more stretch here. Through the neck, through the shoulder. And this can still be done with the elbows, with the hands on the shoulders. Beautiful work. Start to draw it all back towards center. Uncross through the arms, open up to either side, and then release the hands back behind you. They could find the ground, they could interlace. We're just going to roll the shoulders back and down as we lengthen down towards the fingertips. Just a little counter stretch here, opening up through the chest. And gaze could lift, but not dumping the head back. We're not throwing the weight of the head back, but just think of more of a lift and extension through the throat.
Stretching through the front side of the neck. Beautiful work. When you're ready, just release that. We'll take eagle arms on the other side, and then we'll start to settle into our final relaxation. Inhale the arms out to the side. Exhale, start to bring the arms together. This time, left elbow on top. Elbows bend. Again, you could just bring the backs of the hands together, and they won't be even by any means. At least mine aren't. You could maybe go for the double wrap. Maybe the palms come to touch. Mine definitely don't. And if that doesn't feel good, again, to have the arms extended, lower the elbows down to lower the hands down to the shoulders. Elbows are lifting up and away from the body so that we're opening up through the back side of the shoulder blades. But we're not lifting up through the shoulders. So we're still relaxing the shoulders down, finding an opening in the upper back. Elbows lift and draw away. I don't know if you can see from the side. So I'm not up here nice and crunched. Shoulders are down, elbows are lifting and drawing away. Awesome work. And then if it would feel good, tucking the chin towards the chest, finding a little more length through the back of the neck. Finding your breath. One more round of breath. If the chin was tucked down, nice and gently starting to raise it back up. And then the last little thing here, we'll start to send the elbows over towards the right. Gaze over the left shoulder, getting a little more stretch through the arm, through the shoulder, and a little bit into the neck. Awesome work. When you're ready, bring it all back towards center. Unravel through the arms, opening up to either side. Nice little counter stretch, releasing the hands down. Maybe they find the ground, maybe they interlace. Just rolling the shoulders back and down, rooting down through the fingers, opening up through the chest. And again, that option to lift through the chin, extending through the throat without throwing the head back. So we're still wanting to protect those delicate bones in the neck. One last inhale here. And let it go. Awesome work. Release through the arms or we shake it out. And we'll start a transition towards our Shavasana or our final relaxation pose. But if there are any other movements that you'd like to take to kind of round out your practice, anything that the body's craving that we didn't get to, anything that you'd like to revisit, take as much time as you'd like to explore any final movements. And take your time to set up your final pose. This is a pose of surrender. So once again, we want to be able to try to settle in. So you're welcome to once again lie on the back. You could be flat on the back. You could bring props in to support you. If being on the back doesn't feel awesome tonight or today, whenever it is that you're doing this, then feel free to lie on your side, lie on your belly. You could also come to a seated meditation. But again, we want to be able to release, to relax, so you want the body to be supported. So if you are sitting, maybe lean against a wall or sit in a chair, something where you can surrender the body, surrender the breath, and surrender the mind. But again, taking some time to explore anything else that will help round out your practice. And taking your time to gently set yourself up for your final relaxation. And whenever you find yourself in your final pose, once again, we want to settle into stillness, so try to get any wiggles, any fidgets out. Release any holding in the body. Release any control over the breath. And hopefully through your practice, we've cultivated a little bit of peace of mind. Tapping into the internal peace that we carry with us all the time, that's always accessible to us. And oftentimes it's just connecting to the breath, connecting to the present moment that can help to get us back into that inner peace. No matter how chaotic things are on the outside, or no matter how chaotic things are on the inside, this inner peace is always with us, always accessible. And it does take some work to access it. Taking these final moments of silence and practice to let yourself go, to let yourself be fully present, to let yourself just be.
you do have more time to dedicate to your Shavasana, please do. Give yourself as much time in this state of peace and surrender as you can carve out. This little gift of self-love, self-care. When you feel ready, gently start to bring a little movement back into the body. If you are lying down and not already there, starting to roll onto one side of the body. And gently press your way up to a comfortable seat. I'll invite you to bring the hands to heart center, either resting both hands over the heart or in prayer, or taking any other meaningful gesture with the hands. And taking just one more moment to offer yourself some gratitude for carving out this time, for stepping on your mat, for your willingness to put in the work. Thank you so much for those of you joining me live. Thank you for allowing me into your homes. And thank you to all of you watching this video later. I appreciate you sharing your time and your practice with me, and for allowing me to share the magic of yoga with you. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I see you, I honor you, and I bow to you. Namaste.